Yes.
Let's quickly move to the bottom. Do you want to go first? Should I go first?
Well, you went first before, so I'm gonna go first and get my bottom out of the way.
Alright.
Okay, so let me go and take a look at my little list that I compiled. Alright, so I'm just gonna get this one out of the way. This one was actually my number one. We already shit all over this armor earlier in the video. My number one worst armor is the glide armor. But we've said everything we need to say about that, so we're gonna skip that, okay?
I remember the surprise in your voice when I first said the glide armor, and then I was like, oh, just aesthetically, and you're like, oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Aesthetically, really awesome looking armor, but we've already talked about how poopy this armor is, so I'm just giving you a heads up. My number one is now moot. My number three for my bottom three armors is something called the Giga Armor. Now, colloquially, the armor from X2, I always used to call the Giga Armor, and so did a lot of other people. They called it the Giga Armor because it's the first armor that enables you to use the Giga Crush, which seems like an appropriate name. But the Giga Armor that I'm referring to comes from the Mega Mission card games, and this is what I was talking about when I said that not all armors, not everything with a sword is cool. This armor is a mess. I don't know what is going on here.
It's glowing.
He's glowing. He's got like a weird Super Saiyan aura coming off of him, which is not as cool as it sounds. He's got this weird golden stuff just kind of slapped on him. He doesn't have anything going on his head. I noticed this is a running theme with the Mega Mission armors, is that they never give him a new helmet. It's just always the same. His arms are bare, his feet are always bare, and his helmet is always bare. But he gets a chest plate, shoulders, and legs, and maybe a buster.
And a buster.
It's weird that they don't ever do that, and so this doesn't even feel like a full armor. This is just like strange. Like this looks
I think most of the theme on the Mega Mission stuff is just like it's what we were talking about earlier. How it's just put on top of his regular armor, like it's just makeshift, quick, upgrades. I think that's kind of what it's supposed to be going for.
I mean,
but,
maybe but
maybe
the stuff that they're giving him is so extreme. And yet, so it's like, if you're going to go that far, at least just give him a whole suit of armor.
I guess you.
This is the armor that if I had to describe it, it's like, this is the armor that, like, your 7-year-old cousin comes up with. You know what I mean? Like, it's got so much going on. It's got a sword, like a ridiculous-looking sword, not even like a cool-looking one.
It's not even the Z-Saber. It's
like
different.
a ridiculous-looking buster, and there's all this crap going on, and it's glowing with Super Saiyan energy. You know what? So, you know what I mean? Like, it just kind of feels like an armor that a little kid designed. Like, a little kid drew this, and they rolled with it, and they were like, yeah, you know what? That looks good. And they just put it in. I don't know. Did a little kid draw this? Like, was that a thing? I know they had these armor contests not that long ago.
I don't think it was on these. I think it was just on the new.
Okay,
when they brought back the Mega Mission stuff, but I'm not positive.
I would hate to like poo-poo all over like a little kid's dreams who like designed this armor.
Hey, they're grown up now.
I mean, they're grown up now, but I'm poo-pooing on like little Kenji in Japan over there who designed this.
Yeah.
I don't want to like, but it's. I like that they gave him a sword. I think the idea of giving him a sword is interesting, but it also is kind of like X doesn't use a sword, so why would you give him one? It's not Zero's. It's not symbolic. He's not using it to commemorate Zero. You're just giving him a sword, and there's just so much going on, and I don't know. It's just a mess. It looks like a 7-year-old designed it. So that's my number 3. Looking at this armor, I don't really know too much about it. I can only speak to what it looks like. The only thing I can tell just from looking at it is that I guess it's really strong. Based on the aura, the Z-Saber, the ridiculous buster, and the giant shoulder pads. That's what I got going for it. So I can't say if it's a good armor or not, but based on looks, it seems a little gaudy.
Well, to be fair, when I was like 7-ish, or whenever I first saw this armor, I thought it was pretty cool. But that was because, you know, what we
You
were
had
talking about off
7-year-old
air.
sensibilities too.
Well, yeah, but you know, like what we were talking about off air, when it was just so much harder to find just pictures of stuff on the internet.
That's true.
And then I saw this X armor that I'd never seen before, and I
Yes.
printed them all out. You know, like from that, I think it's cool. You know, just based on that memory.
That's true.
But,
I can respect that. If I was a kid and I came across this,
yeah.
I would have like lost my mind because I've never seen it before.
But looking at it now, like it's exactly what you said, and it's apparently called the Giga Buster and the Giga Saber. So they went really far with the creativity.
It really ran with the whole Giga theme.
Yes. Well, my bottom number 3, I guess, is the Xfire Armor.
Oh, you know,
like,
that's a good choice too.
Like it's really like it barely even looks like X. It looks like Gate if he like had an emo phase. You know?
Yeah, I kind of like the Xfire armor as far as the way it looks a little bit. But what makes it not appeal to me is how it's basically a melee armor, despite the fact that it's using a buster. Like,
yeah.
When you get something called Xfire, I'm thinking, oh, it's gonna be like fire based. It's gonna be like really cool or whatever. No, instead you get like a taser gun. X gets a little handheld stun gun attached to his arm.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I'm just confused because I'm like, why would he have this?
Yeah, like I can see what they were going for, but like in all transparency, I haven't played through Command Mission. Like I've beaten the first chapter. It's on my to-do list. But you know, so maybe in context I would like it more, but just looking at it,
hey, I have a spoiler for you. There is no context.
Okay.
You start the game with his armor, and there's no explanation for it.
Oh, it's just there. Okay.
Yeah, you start off with it. None of the armors in Command Mission are explained. X starts off with this as his hyper mode. Every character gets like a hyper mode that they can use.
Like a limit break type thing?
Yeah, you basically transform into a different mode, which enables you for a certain number of turns to use enhanced attacks or different abilities. So X, in place of a charge shot, gets something called, I don't know what it's called, but it's not like a regular charge shot, it's a melee attack. So that means he has to physically run up to the enemy, and he jabs them with the buster, and it like electrocutes them rapidly.
Alright.
So, I don't know, like I can't really find the utility for that. It seems kind of... It gives me hints of the black-colored X3 Hyper Armor.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, in X3, if you play the beta, the prototype for the game, the Hyper Armor used to be black, kind of like the Ultimate Armor. And it looks really interesting, so that's what this reminds me of, actually. But yeah, Xfire is... The Xfire armor is kind of cool looking, but it's kind of useless. I would have put that at my bottom 3, but it's not in my bottom 3 ranking. But it's definitely not an armor that I'm fond of.
All right. So what's your number 2 bottom?
My number 2, and I'm going to skip my number 1, so this would be the last one for me. Is actually not an armor for X. This is an armor for Zero. Also coming from Command Mission, we're talking about Absolute Zero.
That explains why you asked me that earlier. Okay.
I know a lot of people are probably a little mad at me for putting this on my bottom list of armors. It's actually close to like my least favorite armor, only because he's got bat wings on his forehead.
That one. I'm trying to pull up a picture of it. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, the rest of the armor is pretty cool. I love the legs. I think the legs are a cool design. I love the weird gradient Tron style lines that are all over him. Those are cool. I love the wings on his back. Those are cool. The claw hands, all super cool. I like that he's called Absolute Zero, and all of his attacks do ice element damage. That's really awesome. So like that's a cool tie-in with the name, and also Absolute Zero just sounds really cool. But you look at this whole design, and then he gets bat wings on his head.
It looks like they took a lot of from base.
Yeah, they did. It looks like it might have been based on base, because I can see that in the shoulder pads and in the chest.
Yeah, the shoulders.
Yep. The shoulder pads and the chest, because if you look at the shoulder pads, they're shaped like base. They have the same trim as base, but it's blue. The chest is also similarly shaped to base, and it has a gem in the center. What I think is cool but also dumb is that the gem in the center of the chest is cracked.
Cracked, yeah.
Like, it's kind of cool. Like, it's interesting as a concept. But the whole design just kind of seems like a mess. And I think if they wanted to make the absolute Zero design work, I think that they should have taken the horns on Zero's head, and just kind of straightened them out and just shot them back and just made them big. Like, they just shoot all the way back or something. Kind of like, you know how, like, Batman has the pointed ears?
Yeah.
Kind of like that. Just do that. But instead, they put literal bat wings on Zero's head. It looks like they should be flapping any minute now to keep him levitating.
I was going to ask, are they animated?
No, they're not animated. Only the bat wings, I think, are animated.
Man, okay, let's assume he doesn't have the back wings and he's just walking through a door. Like, he's got to go through sideways.
Yeah, Zero would... Here's how you defeat Absolute Zero. You just go through a small doorway. Like, he couldn't even go in sideways because he's too tall, and he can't go in frontways because he's too wide. And, you know, I mean, I get it. Obviously, he would never come across a situation like that. But, you know, this armor had a lot of potential, but the helmet is just so goofy. It just doesn't work for me.
And
And
I'm covering up the helmet. It looks pretty good without the helmet.
Yeah.
I'm just covering it up with my hand.
And functionally, the armor is cool. No pun intended. But what I don't like is that it doesn't really have a lot of flashiness to it, which is something that I would expect out of an armor like this. All of his attacks are basically just standard melee attacks, and the shocking part about them is just that they do a ton of damage.
Okay.
That's about it. There's not really anything impressive. It's not as shocking as X's ultimate armor in Command Mission, which...
That's the one with all the guns, right?
Oh my god, he basically turns into the Super Dimensional Fortress Macross. And he's just a floating mass of guns and missiles, and it's really cool, but I also don't think that's very befitting of X's personality. I'm like, X wouldn't do this. This is not... X requires a certain level of elegance to his designs, and that armor doesn't have any elegance to it. It said, like, X is not a violent person. He doesn't enjoy violence, so I don't think it's appropriate for him to equip weapons that use a ton of conventional military hardware on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He'll use giant blasters and busters and whatever, because you could just be like, oh, he's channeling his infinite potential or whatever. But there's nothing elegant or, like, Chosen One-ish about, like, just firing an assload of missiles at something. Or machine guns. Like, it would be like if X picked up, like a Gatling gun, but, you know, when would X ever do something like that? X dive.
Oh.
Sorry, there was something caught in my throat.
Man, you should probably go get that checked out.
Yeah, probably should. So, do you have any other armors in your bottom? What do you have?
Yeah, I've only done one, so I've still got 2 to talk about.
Yeah, so the next 2 are all on you, man. I already finished all mine.
All right. Well, my number 2 is the Giga Armor. Like, I like how it looks, and that's it. Because, like, you know, spike immunity, whatever. But the way that it's implemented in X5 is so terrible. Because, like, let's say you're going through, you know, I guess recommended order. You know, you get the laser parts first, and then the space shuttle parts. You know, like it railroads you in that direction.
Right.
The laser parts levels also have all the Falcon armor. You know, like, they split the armors up with the parts, thankfully. But you have to have the entire Falcon armor to get the Giga armor. So if you're not just going in, getting an armor piece and leaving, then by the time you have the Giga armor, you've beaten all the levels. So you don't get to use it.
Right, it's not
You
useful
know.
for anything aside from spike immunity, which is only useful in a handful of situations because we're not
Yeah.
playing X6.
But like you don't get to use it, so you can't see what it's all about. Like I wish X5 and X6, like instead of having the whole, oh, you have to have full armor completed or whatever, it could have just done, like, if you just have the arms and the legs of the Falcon, then, you equip the Falcon armor, in quotes, and it's just those parts, and you get limited utility of it,
Right, something like that.
And then when you get the full set, then you
Mhm.
unlock the flight and you get the full benefits, or
Right.
when you get the full Giga Armor, then you unlock the spike immunity.
Something to
It
that
would have been
effect, yeah.
so much better because I use it, like, if I'm doing a full playthrough, getting all the capsules, I use it in one level just so I can use it against the Rangda Bangda, right? Isn't that the face boss?
Yeah, that's the face boss. Everyone tells me
Yeah.
that fight is infinitely easier as Gaia Armor because you're immune to the spikes and you can tank damage and you do a lot of damage. But
Yep.
to get to Rang de Bang, I think it's the same stage. You also need to go through the laser traps. I don't know.
That's
that the previous stage?
That's the first stage. Yeah, that's
Okay.
the one with the devil.
Well, in either case, you never know when to use the Gaia Armor, and it's only useful in certain places.
Yeah.
So unless you know those spots are coming up, it's not worth a damn. And it sucks
Yeah.
because I love wearing it and just tanking damage like no one can hurt me.
Yeah.
It's really cool just taking shots to the face and just laughing them off. Like, you feel like a fortress. But here's what I would have done to make the Gaia Armor a little bit more interesting.
Okay.
Keep it exactly as it is.
Right.
And to offset the fact that it does not have a good buster shot, because it does a lot of damage, but it only reaches like a few feet in front of you before it vanishes. Make it so that if you perform a double jump, X gets a stomp and he shoots himself down.
Yeah.
Because you're heavy
That sounds
and
cool.
slow, and this way, if you can do a stomp, you can turn just your movement into an attack. Like, when he dashes as the Gaia Armor, that should be an attack. That should be like you ram through enemies and send them flying or something. Make the Gaia Armor useful. And also, I agree, obviously change the route so that, you can actually get it before having to complete the entire game.
Yeah, if you didn't need the entire Falcon armor to pick it up, because you have to fly to get one of the pieces, and you can't fly with just some of the armor pieces, you have to have the
Which
entire
is dumb
Falcon armor.
because Dr. Light says the leg parts for the Falcon Armor enable you to fly, which is bullcrap because it's the jetpack on the chest that lets you fly. You can see it when he flies, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, like it just takes away all the like utility of it, because you can't get the Gaia armor first and just play around with it in the other 4 stages. Like it has to be after the 8th stage. You pick it up, because you have to go to the select menu to pick the armor. Like you don't get to use it.
Exactly. There's no chance in getting to use it because the way that the game plays out makes it obsolete or not worth using at that point. You can pretty much play Falcon Armor or just neutered Force Armor for the entire game, and you're just as well off. Which is a shame because I would have. Here's what I would have done. Maybe at like the end of I don't know, the intro stage or something like that. Like, put a capsule in that stage. Like, X gets damaged or something, but he finds a capsule somewhere in the stage. Like, make it so that you have to find it. And then just give him the Gaia Armor. Like, just give it to him from the start or something. I don't know. Like, just something to let you actually be able to use it. As a kid, I replayed the games constantly, so I guess it wasn't that big of a deal to me. I was like, well, I can go back and play the stages as the Gaia Armor. It's fine, because I'm at the end of the game now. There's no more countdown. But you shouldn't base a game off of a kid's inability to realize that he's just running through the same stages 4 or 5 times. A game should be a smooth experience, I think, from start to finish, with minimal backtracking. But the Gaia Armor is basically the ultimate backtrack, waste. There's no point.
There should have at least been, like, the ultimate armor code. Like, there should have been one for each armor. So you could start with the Falcon Armor, start with the Giga Armor.
And you know what? That would be cool for like speedrunning categories. Like, you know, like play through the game. Someone should hack that. Someone get on that already.
Yeah.
Forget retranslating X6. Let's get, you know, Gaia Armor hacks for X5.
Yeah. You can keep Aelia in if you want. Just give us the Gaia Armor.
Yeah,
at the
can we just hack Aelia out, or just get rid of her?
Yeah.
She has nothing useful to say that you can't already tell just by looking at the screen. The thing that bothers me about Aelia in X5 is that you don't have the option of skipping her. You have to listen to her when she pops up. And
that was such a godsend in X6.
Yes.
It was like, oh, push a button.
One of the few things that X6 did better over the previous games, which thankfully was adopted into others. I love the Gaia Armor. I think it looks super cool. If you have a Gaia Armor model kit like I do, like the old Bandai ones, a cool thing that you can do is if you have a Swordman model kit, take Swordman's sword out of his arm and give it to the Gaia Armor, and he looks like a paladin, and it's super cool.
Oh, that sounds neat.
He looks like a really
do you also have sword?
Heavy... I do have a Swordman, yeah.
Oh man, send me a picture of that. I want to put it in.
I never actually... I gotta go fish him out of the closet, but if I can get the Gaia Armor and his sword, I'll definitely show you. But it's cool because he's like in thick, heavy, bolted armor like a knight, and he's holding a sword. Like, it just works.
That's awesome.
Also, the Giga Crush for the Gaia Armor was cool, but it's also useless.
Is that the one where he like just holds a energy ball in front of him?
Yeah, he creates an energy ball in front of him, which is imitating Chun-Li's hyper combo or super move from Street Fighter, the Kiko show or whatever, and she does the same thing. It's the same motion, and then she creates a giant ball of energy that surrounds her body. But as the Gaia Armor, I would have preferred it if you just threw it, and then it would have been useful.
Well, he's too bulky to move his arms that much.
I guess.
He's doing as much as he can.
He did the motion, he just needed to let go. I don't know. Man. That's the Gaia Armor, I guess, though.
Yep, and I guess the winner, the worst one to me, is the Rockman X Online, or the Rockman Online X Armor. It's...
Oh, that hot mess.
There's a lot going on here.
There is a lot of things. I didn't even think of that. There's so much happening with that armor. It's like hard to keep track of.
I'm looking at it now and I'm just baffled.
The helmet especially has some weird fins going on. I gotta look this up. Do you have a picture handy?
Yes, I do.
Let me see. I haven't seen this armor in years. It's so weird.
Let me send it your way.
It has, if I remember, it has some cool stuff that I do like. But not everything? Let me see. X's arm was... Oh, yeah. Let me see this. Yeah. The legs are kind of cool. I kind of like that.
Yeah, the legs are cool, but...
The arms are kind of cool. I like that. I think it's the helmet that makes it weird to me.
It's just like... I don't know. Like, was this supposed to be X, or was it supposed to be, like, an X copy? I forgot how that game was gonna work.
So, the way that this game works is that... Which is stupid. They should have just let you make your own Reploid. Every character in Rockman Online is a copy of an existing Reploid, because there's some sort of time travel shenanigans, and so they're like, well... The only way that, you know, we can stop all of this is if we start making copies of our most powerful fighters. And so they made copies of X, Zero, Duo, and Cinnamon, strangely. I don't know why. I never considered her one of the strongest fighters, but, you know, whatever.
Suck it, Axel.
Yeah, screw you, Axel. We got Cinnamon. She's gonna slap us across the face with some kitty paws and put you to shame. Yeah, I see what you're saying, though. This armor looks really weak sauce.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's got too much going on, and there's no cohesive design to it. It's just shapes and trim put on everything.
Yeah, let's make it X, but different. You know, like...
Yeah.
That was the philosophy behind it.
What I
don't have much
to
say about it. It's just kind of silly.
It's just kind of ugly. What I would have done to maybe try and improve it is those crossing white fins on the chest. I would have actually made those touch in the center and then draw a straight line across to form an X on his chest.
Yeah.
And then instead of...
it's so close.
It's like it's just a little off. Like, just a little something that could, improve it,
Oh, I just noticed the light blue part on his chest. Like, it's poking down, so if he bends forward, it's going to stab him in the gut.
Yeah, well, it's funny, though, because it's like, I think the Falcon Armor has that, too. It's got a whole bird beak. If you look at the Falcon Armor.
Yeah, but it's like sticking out enough to not like, like he'll sneeze and like tear his shirt.
You wouldn't want to sneeze. I guess it's about the same as the the Max Armor with that little stomach bit that pokes up. I guess you can call those even. Just before anyone yells at us, the Falcon Armor is an incredibly cool armor. I think it's awesome. It gives me hints of the X2 armor because it uses a lot of the same accents. The Buster is almost identical in shape. He has the red fists, the red gloves, and he has the yellow chest plates. And it is really cool. The thing that kills the Falcon Armor for me, just defending myself preemptively, is that he can't stand with it. The leg armor comes all the way down flush with his feet, so he can't rotate his ankles in any way because his leg is touching the ground as well as his foot. So every time he takes a step, he's taking a step with his leg as well. And this is something that I fear is going to happen with the new Falcon Armor Riobot figure that's coming out. The one that was designed like the True Force X. I'm looking at it, and the only thing that I can kind of spot is that the blue fins that touch the bottoms of his feet, that reach down that far. My guess is that on the Riobot, when you, like, let's say you were going to, like, spread his legs and make his feet stay flat on the ground, when the ankle rotates, I think those things slide up or slide down so that they're never touching the ground or something. That's my only guess. Also, his feet don't make any sense. He can't stand, those gems poke down over his feet which are pointed.
Yeah.
So he can't.
Oh yeah, that's true.
He can't put his feet forward. It's only good for this one piece of artwork. Like,
yeah, it looks really good in that pose.
It looks really good in that pose, but if he moves out of that pose, he's paralyzed. He can't do anything.
Well, that's why he can fly.
That's why this armor is not on my list. It's not in my top 5. It's not in my bottom 3, but it's also not in the list because as cool as this armor is, it's just kind of whatever to me.
Yeah, I like the colors.
Yeah, it's great color schemes. Good pattern going on. It's not too busy. The fact that he has a jetpack is cool. I've never seen any armors that actually give him cool things on his back, which I guess is partly why I like the neutral armor so much, because it's got like an almost jetpack. That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is just whatever. So I know people are going to comment on the Falcon Armor. That's a lot of people's favorites. So I just wanted to toss that out there. That's my honorable mention in place of the Max Armor, since we already talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, like, even though, some of these are hitting our bottom list, I don't think I hate any of them. Like, especially just by design. Like, even, like, the sillier ones, like the Giga.
Yeah, like, I don't hate any of them.
Yeah, like, they're still fine. If they came out with a model kit of any of these armors, like, even the bottom ones that we talked about.
Oh, yeah, I'd be all over those. Yeah.
Except for maybe the online one. I have no connection to that, but
yeah, the online,
that's a personal thing.
The online and the Giga Armor are the only ones if they made merchandise of it, I don't think I'd care.
Yeah,
those are the only ones where I'd be like, whatever.
I'm surprised that neither of us said the Ultimate Armor, because it's pretty cool looking.
The Ultimate Armor is really cool looking, but I feel like that's just cheating at that point.
Yeah, it's
just the Force Armor.
That's what I was thinking.
It's just the Force Armor, but slightly different.
Yeah. But it's see-through.
It is cool. It is cool that it's see-through. Ultimate Armor is pretty cool. It does look like an evil version of the Force Armor. And I like that it can turn into a jetpack, or not a jetpack, like a hoverboard. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Even though that's never used in game, although we did see footage of it in X-Dive, so maybe.
That's so cool. It's like finally.
And I know in X Legacy Collection, he has like the white Ultimate Armor. And there's like a piece of artwork of that untransforming from the jetboard into his armor, which is cool.
That's actually my my computer background.
Oh, well, there you go. So like that's pretty cool. So, yeah, Ultimate Armor I guess is another honorable mention. But it's basically just the Force Armor again, and everything, all the praises we sung about the Force Armor apply to the Ultimate Armor.
Yep.
It's
And
just
then
cool, and then some. It's just cool that it's also see-through. And yeah, that's pretty much it. it's slightly see-through. I don't know how strong that is comparatively to regular armor, but whatever. I'm not the scientist.
Yeah, I'm not the Dr. Light.
I ain't the Reploid scientist. What do I know? Apparently, X had a brief stint with transparent armor during that period for some reason, between all the Mega Mission armors, which are all transparent, and then the Ultimate Armor, which is also transparent. It's all to sell toys, guys.
It's not a phase, Dr. Kane.
Yeah,
why?
Oh, X, when are you gonna grow out of that translucent armor phase?
Just huddled in the corner with like plastic you can see through.
Yeah.
It's like putting it on and taking it off.
You know, what's funny is he never truly grew out of that translucent armor phase, because the neutral armor has some translucent parts.
Oh god, it's true.
You can't see it in the artwork for it, but if you play the games and in some of the cutscenes, it goes up really close. And the glowing parts that X is wearing, like the colored bits of the armor that aren't white, those are semi-transparent. You can just barely see it. I never knew it until I played the Legacy Collection, because it is like impossible to see on an old cathode ray tube TV from 2004. Yeah. But
oh yeah, man,
X Legacy
really good in the Legacy Collection.
It does. The only thing that a lot of people might be turned off about is that a lot of the textures are purposely blurry or dithered, because if you were to view them on a CRT, that's not a bad texture. They were counting on the blurriness of the CRT TV to give it a certain effect. For instance, a lot of the menu items look very pixelated, but they're supposed to be glowing. And the reason why is because when they textured them, the glow is dithered so that when it's on a CRT TV, it would look like a glowing effect. But now that you can see it in its full HD resolution with no blurring on it, that glowing effect just looks like it's pixelated.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, but everything else in the game looks awesome, so...
Yeah. Oh, okay, you know what? I've got one more honorable mention for the bottom.
Okay.
It's that, what is it called? It says Giga Armor X, but it's a different Giga Armor. It's that model kit that came out that had like the Rush motorcycle.
It's got, like, I have that on my desk actually. It's like
I wanted to love it so much, but it's like the helmet is like huge.
So
what's going on?
All right, so I kind of like this armor because it gives them a jetpack, and I love jetpacks. I think that's cool. I think that's really sick. But actually having this figure, I have a couple of structural complaints about it. Coming off of the armor, X has these like little fins that point straight down, like along the same angle as his feet.
On the legs, yeah.
Which looks cool. And even though I have posed it a bit, they never quite interfere with the feet, but I just feel like they're going to. Like, it just looks like they're going to interfere with the feet at some point.
I can see that, yeah.
Like, I have him posed right now in such a way where he's kind of like leaning forward with his hips forward. So that means that the shins are angling that fin down, and I'm telling you, they are millimeters from touching the ground. They're almost a kickstand for X at this point. Another thing that I don't really like about it, just because I have a figure of it, so I can, again, these are some structural complaints. The shield that they gave X, while cool, is way too long in the back. It is always touching his shoulder pad. He cannot straighten his arm out, because if he straightens his arm out, he's going to push his own shoulder pad. Or if he were to straighten his arm and then he put the shield on, he can't bend his arm because the shoulder pad fits between like a little divot in the shield. And so yeah, he basically, that whole arm is now useless. He can't use it for anything. The Buster I don't really have any complaints about. It's kind of
Buster's pretty cool.
It's just an extra large Buster. I like the chest plate. I think the chest plate is cool. It's got like a glowing thing and it has like X written on it and it says like Maverick Hunter on it. Like that.
Oh, it does? Oh, that's pretty cool.
Oh, actually, it says Irregular Hunter, but yeah, it like there's like little things printed all over it. I like that the jetpack has the thing that says Cavalier written on it, because that's the name of the right armor that it transforms into.
Okay.
I kind of like the big extravagant helmet, as crazy as it is. I do kind of like it. But again,
I was just scrolling through, and then like I never noticed how big the helmet was.
Yeah, I
figured I'd mention it.
I just have, like I said, some structural complaints. Design-wise, it looks kind of cool. My headcanon for this armor is that this is armor developed by the Maverick Hunters, which is why it's like it's called like the Cavalier armor, because it's technically a ride chaser that turns into armor for X. So my theory is that this had fashion over function in mind, which is why it's like a Maverick Hunter armor to me. And it also has the Maverick Hunter logo printed on some of it, so that says to me like they developed this and not Dr. Light. So anything,
it looks cool from other angles.
Yeah, it's okay, but it is clunky. The shield is way too big. He can't move his arm. It just needs to be further down on his arm, or they just need to chop off this back piece on the thing. That's pretty much it. It's pretty cool armor. It's like the Falcon Armor, but something. It's like the Falcon Armor and like some other armors kind of tossed together.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I like the lavender color, but it's all right.
They tried.
They tried. It's cool. I would like other armors in this series to come out. If they could just sell those, I would swap out these armor parts for other ones, like the good old days when I had the Bandai Mega Armor series.
Oh man,
I
can't wait to do that with the new model kits.
They advertised this like it was. They
advertised
like it was going to be the Giga
Legend
Armor series, like a sequel to the old Mega one, but they only released one kit.
Yeah, and they were like, instead of $20 kits, they were like $80-$100.
Yeah, this kit was like $80 when it released or something. Like I got it on sale for like $60, but I would not have paid for this full price, because having it now, it's kind of like, this kit could be better. Like I said, structural problems, you can't pose it very well because of that, and the shoulder pads are constantly popping off of his shoulders. But I'm sure in universe that wouldn't happen.
Probably not. But yeah, like even in the advertisements when that first came out, it said the legendary returns. I was like, okay, I'll excuse that because I love the Mega Armor series so much.
Oh my god! So,
and then it was.
Are you talking about like the English?
Yeah.
Okay,
like
so my favorite
returns.
My favorite line, and I'll never forget it to this day, is from the Mega Armor series: is "Use your sense and skill." That I don't know why that always made me laugh when I read it. Use your sense and skill to create your own armors or something to that effect.
I kind of love that.
And I'm like, use your sense and skill, and yeah, it's some crappy English. There's even worse English, but that one always stuck out to me because I was like, my sense of what? My sense of smell?
Your sense of senses.
My sense of senses. My spidey sense to make good armor.
Ah, there it was. Oh man, I think we've rambled enough.
I think so. I think this we've pretty much hit the bottom of the bucket here. There's a lot more armors that I'm sure we could discuss, but like I said, we tried keeping this on topic as much as possible.
I thought this was gonna go for half an hour, and here we are.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes with us.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that's okay, and I haven't had anyone complain about it yet.
Yeah, that's true. Alrighty, well, I brought us in, so I'm gonna go ahead and see us out. Thank you everyone for joining us. I hope you enjoyed our discussion. I hope you don't take our opinions of these armors as a personal attack. We love all of the armors. It's just that if we had to pick our top 5 and we had to pick a bottom 3, those are the ones that we were gonna go with. So tell us your favorite armors in the comments and why. We'd love to hear about why you like these armors and what makes them special to you, or what your reasoning is. And
or your least favorites.
Or I was about to follow up with, or your least favorite armors. Which armors do you absolutely hate and why? Like, is there one that you just think is completely stupid? And why is it the glide armor?
It looks cool.
It does look cool, but it's so useless. Anyway, I think that about wraps it up for us. As always, I am Twitch. I'll see you guys next time, and
I'm ColemanX, and thanks for coming and sticking through this whole thing. And Twitch, thanks again for being here.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure.
All right, take it easy, everyone.
Take care, everybody.